Welcome back to Saw's Farming Family. Today we are going to talk about making lists, how to actually get stuff done in life. It's been a while since I've made a video. Reason being, while I was working on my truck, set my phone on top of my tire, something I tell everybody not to do. When my wife came home, she asked if I could move my truck so that she could unload groceries, or have me unload groceries rather. And when I went to move my truck, I forgot to move my phone, ran over my phone, ended up at the cell phone store all day. It took me a week to get a new one and get it all set up. So here we go. I plan on doing a gear video here in the next couple of days too. So making lists are super, super important. People that get things done make lists. Whether you have something big going on in your life, or you just want to make sure you get all the work done that you are meaning to during the weekend, making a physical list will almost ensure that you get it done. When you get up in the morning, make the list the night before. When you get up, start executing that list. Once that whole list is checked off, if you're tired, if you need some rest, it's okay to rest, as long as you make sure you get everything done on that list. When I am trying to get stuff done, I have an idea about how long it takes me. However, when I'm working on projects or trying to organize something, I realize that life happens, distractions happen, stuff happens at home. You might be in the middle of a big project and your wife or kids come in and need help with something. You have to drop it. So if I think a job is going to take me an hour, I will allot an hour and a half. We tend to overestimate what we can do in a very short amount of time, but underestimate what we can do in a longer amount of time. For instance, it might not feel like you're getting much done that week or that month, but you look back in 3 months and realize what you've done. And I know that I need to give some relevance to that. Day to day, sometimes I don't feel like I got much done. In the past, maybe 5 months, I bought this new property. It wasn't fenced. I had to build a few thousand feet of fence around the property, livestock fence. I had to partition that off into smaller fields. I had to rebuild my barn. I had to build a chicken kingdom. I wouldn't call it a chicken house. My wife wanted one that will support 50 or more chickens. So I built that. Many other projects. The dog peed on the carpet in the new house. So that led to me replacing all the floors in the entire house. And on those days, sometimes I got frustrated. I might be working on a room and just having a hard time getting the flooring done in that room, getting the perfect cuts done. And I get frustrated by that greatly. But then I looked back over the past 6 months or so, and you realize that you went from almost a raw piece of land with a house on it to moving, building that fence, and basically building an entire farm on a more or less raw piece of land in a very short amount of time. In building up to that, I was quite busy too. I had a few week elk hunt, and I went straight from that elk hunt. I was literally hooking up to my Starlink, signing paperwork, came back from that hunt and started packing boxes to move. In many days, I didn't feel like I accomplished enough or got enough done. But what was consistent through that whole time, and what's been consistent through my whole life, is making lists and checking stuff off. When I was working, I worked a summer job or when I was going to college, I worked a summer job where I worked maybe 1,000 hours of overtime in a matter of 5 months. And then I'd have a month break between time work ended and school started. Well, at that time, I would have put off a lot of different things. So those lists were very important. And then I'd go take one college semester per year. And during that college semester, I wasn't taking 12 units, I was taking 18 to 24 units. And when you're taking that many college units, it's very, very important to stay organized during that whole time. For many of these young guys, they'll set goals for themselves, but they have that goal out in the abyss of someday I want to do X, Y, or Z. Well, it's fine to have that goal. If that's really your passion, really that goal, work from that goal, work backwards, and make lists every day and knock it out. If you don't do that, you're probably not going to reach that end goal. You're going to let that goal pass you by, saying, someday I want to get this done. Having said that, the importance of a list is understanding that if you don't get it done that day, and you really did your best, you can put it on the list for the next day. And eventually you'll get a shorter list, and then life will happen and you'll need to get stuff done. That list expands a little bit. An important thing I do for myself on my weekends, because I have a problem overworking to the point of complete exhaustion, is on one of my days off, I'll make a list of 1 to 2 things I'm going to do. And then after that on my list is rest. And so after I knock out those 2 things, my next thing I have to do is just rest and hang out with my family. And I really feel that if I didn't make that list of just reminding myself that your mental state needs to rebuild, your body needs physical rest, you need to maybe catch up on sleep, catch up on a little bit of laundry while you're resting, I would work myself to absolute death. It's a discussion that my boss has had with me many, many times, that like, you always try and get everything done. Sometimes you need to just turn off. So advantage to that list is it's given me a reputation for being such a hard worker that my boss is literally telling me some days, you need to go home and just relax. Don't worry about it. Or when I go to put in for some vacation time, some leave, he gets approved without an even second glance, because he knows that if I'm asking for that time, I don't only need that vacation, I'm probably knocking 1 or 2 projects out while I'm on it, but he knows that I'll be able to relax. With that, relaxing doesn't always mean sitting around, standing around. It could be, I like working outside. So just the sense of accomplishing something, working slow though, instead of in a production manner, that's going to help my mental state. This is kind of a rambling video. I think the reason being is I just wanted to send a video out there to everybody. My gear video will be much more thought out, but make lists. That could be to get stuff done, or it could be time to recover. I hope all you guys have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon with a more interesting topic.